the Wounded Heroes of America podcast, where we share stories of veterans, military families, and the communities that stand beside them. I'm your host, Mike Talleda. Each episode will explore stories of service, sacrifice, resilience, and hope, because healing doesn't happen alone. It happens in community. Thank you for joining us. All right. Well, welcome to our very first podcast. Today we have Daniel Torres, my friend. Yeah. Daniel.
How you doing, Mike?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I told you you're going to have to carry me through this whole...
I don't know about that one, but I'm going to try my best to.
Yeah. The reason for the podcast is that we've been doing this a long time.
Right.
And we don't just, have a casual relationship. We build some pretty long friendships.
That's true.
And we walk together through some very tough times, you know.
That's also true.
Like
a family extension.
Like a family. I always call it the extended family of vets that we've created, and it's over 200 vets now.
Wow.
But
it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's been a lot of very strong friendships that have been made. We talk about this every now and then. Do you remember when you first came here?
I do. I think it was back in maybe 2010 or 2011. Not too sure exact the dates, but I do remember how I heard about you was through I was working at the VA at the peer support coordinator as a peer support coordinator, helping homeless veterans and find homes or find shelter, and then also giving them free lunches and stuff like that, But I guess some of your guys, Regal and Sean, they came to get free lunch or to get something to eat, that day. And I seen them and we started talking. And they told me about this foundation, Wounded Heroes of America, about you. And I was like, okay, sounds good. I'll go check it out. And eventually I came and check it out, but it was after, maybe like they told me in 2009, 2010. I didn't get here till 2011 or so.
Yeah.
Maybe I think I came once before too, right?
I think that the first check that we gave you was dated 2011.
Okay, yeah. Then I think the first time I came was in 2010, but I wasn't ready to proceed with that.
I always say, I'm not a social worker, I'm just a regular guy trying to, help if I could, and learning all the time. And you kind of taught me a lesson that day. And it was funny because I remember you coming in. We sat down, we talked for a long time. You were okay with everything, until I said, hey, listen, I need your DD-214 and I need a letter from the VA showing, what the issues were. And you said, you kind of went back and you said, I don't feel comfortable giving you that. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable giving you that. And I said, hey, listen, that's perfectly okay.
Right.
You don't have to give me anything, but I can't give you any money.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can't give you any money. And not that we had a lot, but it was a stipend that, that helped. It's a couple $100. And then you came back about 4 months later with your DD-214.
All the information.
And then we started our road together.
Right, exactly.
Toward friendship. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. I mean, I had absolutely no problem, but I needed to, document things. So, there's a lot of scams out there. And if you're not a vet, and you're trying to, take some of my money,
Right.
We're going to have a conversation.
That's what I thought too. I thought the same thing. I thought this was a scam. I just couldn't believe that there was somebody out there that was helping veterans, with certain situations like how you guys were doing it. I mean, this is the first veteran foundation I ever found, and first one that I ever was a part of and been a part of for a while now. And it just didn't believe people were actually that cared. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
It just took me back for a minute, but I just was like, wow, I guess this is real, and well, what do I got to lose,
We started, our beginning was that 9/11 happened.
Right.
Terrible day. Mm-hmm. And I thought, after the second or the third day, realized that maybe that's it. Maybe there's no more attacks. Mm-hmm. And then we started thinking about, and on the TV every day it was New York and the place was still on fire. Right. And that, I wanted to do something, so I called a bunch of buddies and said, listen, why don't we try to raise some money and give it to a victim of the World Trade Center?
Make a difference.
Yeah, and so we chose a golf tournament. That's all we had, a couple golf clubs and a bunch of bad golfers. Mm-hmm. So we put on this golf tournament. We ended up raising $10,000, wow. And we gave it to the victim, the family of Michael McDonald.
That's great.
He was a guy that was killed in the tower. Mm. And then I got this beautiful letter from his wife, Cheryl. Paraphrase it, that we had reinforced her faith in humanity, that there was good people. And I thought, oh my God, it's one of those moments in your life when you do something and you realize that it was special.
Yeah, it made a difference.
Yeah, it make a difference. And, and I was going through a lot of bad stuff in my life at that moment, at that time. And I kept thinking, man, I wonder how many people did what we did. Maybe 300 people got the idea, implemented it, made it happen, located a family, mm-hmm. and actually gave them the money. Maybe 300 people in America did that. And I thought, well, the population is 330 million. Wow. That makes me one in a million. Right. So when you're feeling like you're less than, and you get that kind of feedback,
right,
it just made us want to do some more.
How did you guys find the family?
Well, it was funny. I had a sister in New York.
Okay.
And I told her, please, and it's very naive because nobody was giving any information out.
Right.
Nobody was doing, so we didn't locate that family through my sister in New York. And then my other sister, Mary, who worked at the time for Social Security, said, I just got back from lunch with one of my coworkers who just came back from New York attending her cousin's husband's funeral.
Wow.
Would you consider that? And I thought, well, yeah, absolutely we'll consider that. I told my sister Mary, I said, well, give her a call. She said, no, you call her. Okay. And, that was a tough phone call.
Yeah, I bet.
That was a tough phone call. Mm-hmm. But she was gracious. She made me feel very comfortable. I told her, we talked about her kids. She had 2 boys. And she did tell me that one of her sons was in the sandbox playing with an airplane. Another boy was playing with an airplane. And her son took it away and said, the plane killed my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, that's all we were going to do.
Right.
We never intended to, 25 years later, be sitting here talking to you.
Look what you built.
Huh?
I mean, look what you built. Look what came out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was, we decided that let's do it again. Let's see if we could have that impact, what else is possible. So we did a second golf tournament. The second time, we didn't have anybody to give the money to because a year later, people in New York were already receiving help and financial help. And so we ran into some Navy SEALs
Okay.
that were, setting up a fund for the wife of one of the Navy SEALs that was killed early in 2002. So we gave them the money.
Okay.
Then they asked me, how'd you get the money? Because they were going with an ammo can from bar to bar in Coronado and collecting just a little bit of money. I gave them a check for $4,200.
Wow.
And so they asked me, well, how'd you get the money? And I said, well, we put on a golf tournament. He said, would you help us with a golf tournament? I said, yeah, but it's got to be here in L.A.
Okay.
I don't have any contacts in Coronado.
Okay.
So
Coronado, San Diego, right?
San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where they're training, the buds training and all that.
Yeah.
And so, I ended up putting on 3 golf tournaments here in L.A. for them.
Wow.
Raised about $70,000-$80,000, and I stayed with them for about 3 years, 3-4 years. I was on their board of directors.
Wow.
And but then the war in Iraq began, and their charter was basically anybody killed in combat or anybody in support. But if you were a conventional force, a regular Marine or regular Army, they really, it was outside their charter.
Right.
So that's when I thought, maybe we can do something for the surviving spouses of the conventional guys,
Okay.
And that's where we started in that direction. And then we didn't know what we were doing. We had a little bit of money. I remember the first lady that was referred to us. I called her up and I said, her name was Teresa. Mm-hmm. Teresa Morgan. Her husband was a crew chief on a helicopter that was killed in Afghanistan. Oh. So I called Teresa and I said, hey, listen, Teresa, we're a small, very small little group, and we can maybe give you a few $100s. Would that help? And she said, absolutely. I'm driving 40 miles to go to school. Wow. And that would be wonderful gas,
Right.
And so that's what started us. Yeah. We started dealing with surviving spouses.
Humble beginning.
And that was the beginning until we started running into combat wounded right around 2006, 2007.
Right.
And it was always a learning process. It's a learning process. Like, when I get back to what you said, listen, I don't feel comfortable. Absolutely. See, the reason why we chose to do that was not because it was the right thing to do or that we're social workers. And it was that I was afraid that somebody was going to scam me for a big chunk of money.
Right.
So I figured that if I give them $200 a month, I'm going to catch them at the second or the third month. Okay, they're not going to do that. They're not going to get the money and never see them again. And so that's how that process started about a month, and it was the right thing to do.
It makes sense.
Because that way we were writing checks for a year and a half.
Right.
In that period of time, you really got to know each other.
Right.
And then I didn't know, but the fellowship started to develop.
Right.
You're talking about
Rigo and Sean.
Right. I got a lot of history with those boys.
Right. Yeah, they're good guys. Good guys. And it kind of made you feel like, well, when you get out of the military, you kind of feel like you're alone and nobody really understands you. You mean like you're kind of distant from just civilians and whatever. You kind of miss the camaraderie and brotherhood from people, and talking to those guys made you feel comfortable again. Yeah. Like you got it back in this foundation, brought all that back, and you made you feel you're connected again.
You're part of something.
Yeah, exactly.
And staying small in Southern California, and when you got no money, you got to figure out how to do that. We would put on baby showers.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, we did Moses. I did 2 baby showers for Moses' kids. They're about to go into high school now.
Wow, They
Your
grow
daughter,
fast. Yeah.
when we met, your daughter was just a couple of years old.
Yeah, she was. She was a little baby, and toddler. But they grow up quick, Mike.
Yeah.
They grow up quick.
I saw her not too long ago at a high school function, and I thought, this beautiful young lady, and I'm staring. She's looking back at me, and it was Anaya.
Yeah, it was.
It
was the graduation, right, over there at Redondo?
Yeah, it was either the graduation or I think a play.
Oh, okay. I think
It was a
Anthony.
play. Anthony was in it, and my niece was in it.
Okay.
So she was there because of Anthony, because of the play.
Right.
And she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I went to her quinceañera.
Yeah, you've been there too?
Yeah. Yeah. See, and something that's funny about that, I was late. I was by myself. I couldn't find my table. And you took me and you sat me at your table.
Right. Yeah.
And not...
you was next to my dad and other people that were...
So, I felt like I was part of the family.
You are part of the family.
Yeah.
I mean, you play a big role in my life, and I'm very grateful for that, You're somebody that I kind of look up to. I mean, I do look up to, and it's just amazing the people that God brings in your life. You mean? And it's...
Yeah. Well, you guys taught me a lot. You taught me a lot. I mean, I'm mediocre real estate agent.
You're a lot more than that, man.
All of a sudden, I'm in the, and that's what was kind of, I thought, this is an opportunity, right? I've never been in the military. I've never pretended to be in the military. Right. And all of a sudden, I'm involved with the Navy SEALs. Right. The baddest boys that we got.
Right.
And they love me and I love them. And, I got to see how they find that whole community functions. Okay. Very tight.
Yeah.
Very tight. And these guys are like phenomenal.
Right.
They're world-class athletes, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
They never stop training.
No, they work hard every day.
Every day. Every day. So I go from nothing to hanging out with Navy SEALs, wow. So I thought this was a great opportunity.
Yeah,
I love my country, and I thought this is a good way to pay back a little bit to what's been so freely given to me and my family. We're immigrants. I mean, we're refugees from Cuba, so it was a way to feel good, pay back. And I had been going through a pretty difficult time at that time, and I saw this as an opportunity, but as an obligation.
Wow.
It's an obligation.
To give back.
To give back to these guys are letting it all hang out. They're coming back all jacked up, and it's not just a VA. It's not just a VA that has an obligation. It's the community to step in and pick up the slack, and then do what the VA is not good at. A VA is amazing.
Right.
We had a couple guys that lost a shrapnel, took out his jaw and his tongue and everything else, and they made a tongue out of his arm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's not that's pretty. It's
pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty serious.
Yeah.
So, but the VA's not able to do the fellowship.
No, they're not.
They can do all kinds of stuff, but the fellowship only works if it's constant.
Right.
See, you can't do one thing once a year and then wait till the next year. To build a fellowship, which at the end of the day, I freely call it mental health. What we do is mental health.
You're right about that. You do.
And that is bringing people together.
Right.
And then giving an opportunity to people in the community that have resources. So there's a lot of people out there, particularly in the beginning, that they would fall over each other to try to help a vet.
Right.
But they didn't They couldn't find out. They couldn't find out how to reach out to vets. We had the vets. Mm-hmm. They had the ranch. They had the boats. And so, yeah, that was our beginning. That was like, and I've had experiences. I know that you've been through some pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go there, but we talked about that.
Yeah. There's been some pretty tough time. Like you said, the VA really doesn't. They do what they can do, but it's not like they do everything. Like you said, what you were bringing was different. You're bringing fellowship and connections and building communities with people, and the VA, they're great, but like I said, they don't take care of everything. Like for us to get our ratings and for us to get certain things taken care of was hard. It was a process to go through everything. And what you were doing, you were just giving us money, like with just DD 214 and some information, and you didn't have a problem with it when we needed it. You mean? And it's kind of weird because at the time, like you didn't think that you would. I didn't think that I would be so close to this fellowship or this organization like it is now. You mean, like it's a beautiful thing, and I'm very grateful for it, and how it just started off with just a couple $100 a month, and now it built into something that's lifelong, lasting.
So we went through something. You went through something one day. You mind?
Yeah. So. I guess you could say what you're referring to, if I remember right, is the time that I was contemplating taking my life.
Yeah.
And I could talk about that. Well, I don't remember what year it was in. I know I was living in Long Beach at the time, and I think I was still working for the VA, or maybe I've already stopped working for the VA. Not too sure when, but I know at that time I think it was time she was my wife at the time, Jessica, and we were going through some tough times, because when you get out of the military, not every military person, I guess, it's hard to deal with us men, military men. Sometimes, we have things going on in our heads, and can be difficult sometimes for the women and the people back at home to deal with what we're dealing with, because we don't know how to express it or we just don't know how to deal with certain things. But she was going to leave me. She was going to leave me and take my daughter. And my kids are my everything. I mean, they're everything to me. And when she was going to take that away from me and leave me, it was kind of hard. I couldn't deal with it at the time. I wasn't in a good headspace. It wasn't in a good mindset. It wasn't good at all. Still dealing with coming back home, dealing with stuff, and just to know that I was going to lose my family, it was hard. It was really hard for me to deal with. And I didn't know who else to reach out to. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't really know anybody. So I don't know why. You popped in my brain. You just popped in my brain. I was like, well, give Mike a call. Because I remember you telling me stories, about your life and your past. And I was just thinking, who can I talk to that has been through life, just someone that's been through it and they can give me some advice, or someone that could help guide me on the right path, or just give me some words of inspiration or something like that. And you came into my mind. I was like, bro, let me reach out to him. And I didn't know where it was going to lead. I really didn't know where it was going to lead. To be honest with you, I didn't know what was going to happen that day. I just know I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to deal with the pain. Didn't want to deal with the suffering. Didn't want to deal with anything at that time. And I just wanted it to all go away. All the pain to go away. Everything just to go away. And I just remember that. I remember that, and I was just thinking I don't know, just thinking what's going to be my next move. And I already had my plan, what I was going to do, and I don't know. I didn't even think you were going to come.
Well, I got a call from Regal.
Yeah, Regal's the one.
I got a call from Regal. Said Daniel is going to hurt himself.
Yeah, Regal. You're right. Regal. I remember calling Regal because Regal was the one I was talking to.
Yeah.
And he was just like, well, and I think he was busy at the time. Yeah. I don't know what he was doing, but he's like, let me call Mike.
Yeah. Regal called me and he said Daniel's he's thinking about committing suicide.
Yeah.
And I'm over here, and he's up in the mountains somewhere. And I can't get to him. Can you go? And I said, yeah. I said, yeah, like if I was, I've gone through this before. I'm heading down to see you. And I kept thinking, man, you're not qualified to do this. You're not qualified to do this. And what if he wants to make it a party? And I kept thinking, I'm not going to go in the apartment. I'm going to meet him downstairs. And when I got there, you were in your car. You're parked. I got out of my car. You got out of your car. I remember we hugged.
Right.
And the first thing you told me, or that made it really serious, is you said the only reason why you're alive is you couldn't find your bullets.
Right.
And I
remember that.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit, and I wanted to get you into the VA.
Yeah.
And what I remember is it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful Sunday. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. And you agreed to go to the VA.
Yeah, I did.
And we walked into the VA, and the lady said, can I help you, gentlemen? And I told her, I think this boy is going to hurt himself, And all of a sudden, about 5 guys come in, and they took you.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, if you let him out today, you call me. But they didn't. They kept you for about 2 weeks, put you back on your meds.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, you and Jessica were talking again.
Yeah.
Remember we did the trip out to
Reno.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that trip.
Then a few years later, I sold you a house.
Yeah, you did.
I've always said, and I've done a lot of deals.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing. I was doing real estate all my adult life practically, and this was always my favorite real estate transaction.
I remember you saying that. You say that all the time.
Yeah, because of walking through all of that together.
Right.
I'll never forget that.
It was a good moment.
Yeah, it was
a good moment. It was funny that you say that too, because me and Jessica at the time, we were just thinking like, well, we're never going to be able to afford to buy. We're never going to be able to afford to do this. We're not going to be able to do this. And then I don't know what pushed us. Like we were just like, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens. And then I just said, let me apply for my VA benefit. And see what we can do. And I had a little bit of money saved up. Didn't have a lot of money saved up, but I had a little bit of money saved up for the closing costs, which I wasn't aware of. I didn't have to do, but we had enough and we did it. And we've been living there since 2016.
Yeah.
In June, I think it was June or July, when we moved in 2016, and we've been there ever since. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it
was a good time, good moment for us.
Yeah,
good memory.
Good memories.
Yeah,
good memories, and it's a long journey.
It is a long journey.
It's a long journey. I wanted to ask you, what branch? We didn't even get to that.
Oh yeah.
What you do? When did you?
I was in the Army. I went in 2000 and 2002. I was right after the towers, and at my point in my life, I was pretty down, and I was just thinking like, well, I want to make a difference, patriotism, I was kind of like, want to make a difference, and might as well just go into the military. So I joined the military, and I wanted to be a part of this. And when I was in the military, Fort Knox was where I did my basic training. We were the last class to graduate from Fort Knox. And then after that, we went to my duty station, which was in Port Story, Virginia. and then I was only there for maybe 2 weeks, and then we got orders to ship out, and ever since then, I was only stateside for maybe like 4 or 5 months, but because every time we'd come back home, our tours were last about 9 months to a year. First one was a year, then the second one was about 10 months, but I was only in from 2002 to 2005, and like I said, I was only stateside for about 5-6 months. The whole time I was deployed. Every time we'd come back home, stay for like a month, and get deployed again. But I was a fueler. But your job really doesn't matter. You are whatever they tell you to do. You mean whatever they tell you to do, that's what you're doing. And it didn't matter what your MOS was or whatever. You were doing all kinds of things. So yeah.
Yeah, MOS. See, these are the things that I had to learn when people say, "What's your MOS? What's your MOS?" MOS is basically your job.
Your job
description.
Yeah. Your job description, what you were going to do when you went in the military. Yeah, you're right. That's what it was, MOS.
Yeah. What's your rating now?
My rating is at 100%.
At 100%.
100%, yeah. It took a long time to get there. Like I said, like I was saying, the VA is good for some things. But like they didn't want to give anybody the ratings back then. Like it was a struggle to fight to try to get your ratings, up to whatever 100% or whatever. But they weren't giving anybody 100%. And it took maybe I got out in 2005. I didn't get my 100% rating until 2013, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
What sort of injuries?
Okay. Well, my disabilities that I get it for PTSD. I have PTSD. I have tinnitus. I have I get severe migraines. So that's what they give me. It's mostly for my PTSD.
Yeah.
That's where I'm mostly rated for the highest rating that I have. But burn pits, that stuff. But
are you connected to the burn pits?
Well, yeah. So when we were in the military, that's how we got rid of our waste,
right,
and stuff like that. So most of the time you're over there burning everything and stirring and burning and stirring. So I'm connected to that.
So you've got some of your rating is associated with that.
Yeah. But most of the rating is for my PTSD.
Yeah. That's a hell of a deal to live with.
Yeah.
I've noticed, now that we meet with the Vietnam vets and we have lunch every other Friday, and a lot of these guys are, at 100%. And
years later, though.
Years later,
like
and what, like I said, I mean, everything's been a learning process for me.
Right.
I'm sitting there and I'm meeting with them every now and then on a Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Then on Fridays, every other Friday, and then they come to our cholo dinners. And I asked them, are you still going to the VA for group? And a lot of them are still going for group.
Yeah.
And so, here you are, a guy that's in 78, 79, 80, and they still need that
support.
That group, that support.
Right.
So, I want the young people to know that sooner or later you're going to be an old people.
Yeah.
And things get better. You learn how to live with it, but it isn't something that just goes away.
No, you're right about that. Like I learned a lot of things that I know now from some of the Vietnam veterans. Because when I was going through group at the VA, like you said, you're the youngest guy there, and all these guys are older guys, and they're talking about their experience and about things that are going on and how they deal with it and stuff like that. And you're trying to take life lessons from them and try to apply it to your own life, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, they're great guys.
But then sometimes you kind of think, like, I can't relate to them because they're older than me, but those are some tough dudes.
Yeah, no.
Tough dudes.
I mean, those guys that we have lunch with, there's one guy, his name's Ramon, who is was nominated for the Medal of Honor.
Oh, wow.
Okay. The paperwork, you know how sometimes, 30, 40 years later, they're still fighting for that.
Wow.
But he had 3 silver stars,
Wow.
5 Purple Hearts,
Dang.
and a bunch of bronze. So,
Wow.
these are amazing guys.
Right. They are.
You see them, they don't look harmless. They look harmless, but they're not. Another one, Mark, he was long-range reconnaissance patrol. Those are the guys that you drop in the middle of the jungle that are supposed to, groups of 3 or 4 that are looking for the enemy.
Yeah.
And if they're spotted, they're done.
Yeah, they're done, yeah.
They're done. They have a whole battalion on top of them, And so, I made friends with a lot of amazing people. Well, Daniel, listen, I appreciate, you coming in and help us get this thing on the road.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, Mike.
And I hope that you come back.
I'll come back.
I hope you'll come back because we have a lot to talk about and a lot to educate the public on.
Yeah, we do.
And I think that the average person doesn't have a clue.
They don't. They really don't.
They don't
know the struggles.
What it's like to live with PTSD or TBI.
Yeah. Or just coming back home and feeling lost. You mean?
Yeah.
They don't know what the average military person goes through, and it's good that you're educating them.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be doing that. All right, my brother.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. You take care.
Okay? All right. Thank you, Mike.
If you like the content, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.